It's like our friend Mike, who told me one day when he was starting out masturbating, he used toothpaste for like a lube.
Really?
And he said, do not use toothpaste. It burns like hell. I said, holy shit.
That's awesome. Was it somebody that, like, some stupid YouTube thing I was watching where they're like, yeah, you know, what the fuck is it? They're saying about aliens or whatever and how they, whatever they did, they made it so, like, orange juice tastes like shit right after you brush your teeth. And I'm like, oh, God, it does.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you drinking orange juice right after you brush your teeth? But, yeah, it happens.
Well, it's like, yeah, Danielle will be like, here, like the other day, she was like, here's a Pop-Tart, but I'm having coffee, and then you don't get the full taste of the Pop-Tart because, you know.
And why do you want the full taste of the Pop-Tart?
Because Pop-Tarts are good. You don't like Pop-Tarts.
I like Pop-Tarts, but I take all the crust off of them because the crust part sucks.
Maybe I've
do you toast the Pop-Tarts? Do you heat them up first?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
do you
yeah.
just
Yeah.
do? Okay.
And I do the brown
Of
sugar
course you
cinnamon.
do, because that's what everybody does.
Because
could be a little original.
I don't like the fruit stuff and the birthday party kind. What kind do you like?
The sugar cookie.
Welcome to the Old Man Podcast, where we talk about Pop-Tarts.
It's
I have not had the sugar
limited
cookies.
edition. It usually only comes out around Christmas time, around the holidays, like probably October through whatever. And it's sugar cookie. They are fucking amazing.
Are they frosted?
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh.
Yep.
Interesting.
And yeah, it's, like one of the stupid video game podcasts I listen to, they will ask like the different questions and stuff like that. Like, okay, you know, what's the proper way of doing this? You know, do you have to, what are some of the things that they talked about? Well, for one, the Pop-Tarts, are they toasted or not toasted?
Uh-huh.
Toilet paper over or under, or does it matter?
Over. Yeah.
When you're brushing your teeth, do you toothpaste wet, then brush, or do you just
wet toothpaste?
Wet toothpaste, then straight in.
Yeah.
You go in with dry toothpaste. Yeah. I wet the toothpaste again.
Really?
Yeah.
See, the toothpaste kind of wet already.
Yeah.
It's
I
that's
was raised as a kid.
I've seen that in movies.
Right.
I've learned everything from movies.
Yes, you have. Yeah. Apparently, there's a stand-up method of wiping your ass.
like, where are you all from? I'm from Phoenix. Hey, good to be here.
No, have you ever heard of this?
Not stand-up comedy. No, but
okay. When you wipe your ass,
okay. When I wipe my ass, I stand up and I wipe my ass. You don't stand up to wipe your ass.
No.
Yeah.
I stay seated.
Really?
Yes.
This
See?
is interesting. I'm gonna have to ask other people.
Okay, because this is the thing. I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, you either stand and wipe, or you sit and wipe, and there's no deviation. So you stand all the way up.
Yeah.
And how do you wipe? Your ass cheeks closed together.
Because then I hold one open and then I wipe.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, try it. I'll try yours.
No.
You try mine. So you just like lean forward and reach behind you and wipe?
I like sometimes I'll go in the middle, like down between the legs.
Oh, and then
wipe
you'll
that way.
but then you're wiping up to your nuts because I always heard like for women,
you clean yourself anyway.
No, I know, but you know what I'm saying. Like women, they say if they wipe,
but I don't have a vagina,
they wipe,
so I'm fine. And I'll do that sometimes, and then sometimes I reach behind. It just depends on to make sure that I'm getting the proper wiping.
If I raise your balls, will there be like shit nuggets in there?
You would be able to tell. You would know.
Right. Yeah. I'm always there.
You don't seem to complain. But yeah, see,
and then yours, are you over or under with the toilet paper?
Over.
Okay,
is the only civilized way.
Yeah, exactly. A bunch of savages in this town.
But yeah, so yeah, here's the great thing then, because you're a stand-up wiper. I never knew a thing fucking existed.
Yeah. That's interesting.
And you never knew that that sitters?
And Danielle, well, no, I thought women did it because I've seen Danielle and other women like sit and wipe. And then it's like, okay, and so I stand, that's why Joe and I had this conversation about wiping it's so savage in a way. Like you're taking toilet paper, you're wiping your ass, and Joe's like, "What else do you do?" And I said, "I'm just saying."
The 3 shells?
I'm just saying. Yeah,
do you know that's from?
Oh, trust me, I fucking still can't figure that out. That movie should have had an answer. Well, they should have had an answer. Like,
here's another thing. Somebody just told me about this. We need to look this up. We shouldn't copy it,
right?
But it's a podcast of 3 brothers or something like that, or 3 brothers podcast, and they go on to Yahoo Questions and just answer Yahoo Questions randomly. They just randomly pick.
like not even knowing.
No,
the
they
answer.
just randomly
that's
like
funny.
hit random or whatever on there, and then a question comes up like, "Hey, if I wipe standing up, is it going to get poop in my vagina?"
Yeah.
And
they're
they're just
no, you're totally
And
safe.
I'm like, the guy was telling me about it, I'm like, do they answer them on Yahoo? Are they actually putting the answers down, or are they just doing it on their show? But I'm like, talk about a way of getting easy content.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy things. You just fucking, let's see what the fucking Yahoo questions are today.
Yeah, well, and then what was interesting to kind of get into the show now is, although that was fascinating to start with, masturbated with toothpaste ever? No?
No.
So on Instagram, there's this community of podcasters on there.
Mm-hmm.
So like regular people start following me, and then I follow them back and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So if I click on it, and it's just some girl in a bikini, and it's like, here's my website. It's like, no, then I don't follow.
Then I give them money on Patreon.
Then I'm like, oh, right away. So I don't do that, but there's like a lot of podcasts, because mine's called It's Kind of Funny Podcast, so people, podcasters follow me. So there were these guys called Those Movie Guys podcast. So I told the guy said something, and I said, yeah, I'm going to listen to your show, tonight. And, because he was doing a live thing, which I've never done, the Instagram live. So he was doing that, saying, I'm waiting for my buddy, and we're going to start recording. And I was like, oh, where are you at? Because I thought he was live. So I wrote, where are you at? Where are you guys at? And he didn't write me till later. Then I realized it was 8 hours and blah, blah, blah. He wrote me back. He's like, oh, yeah. He goes, I'm here in Michigan. And I said, oh, my wife's from Michigan. She's from blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, I'm from here. And so we're talking on this regular message thing, almost like texting, like back and forth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I haven't listened to your show, but I will. I said, I was just, curious. Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, us podcasters got to stick together. Or before he said that, we were saying, so I said, I'll listen to your show. He goes, and I'll listen to yours. And I said, okay. He goes, which one should I listen to first? Because I listened to his last one. And he's like, which one should I listen to first? He goes, Ode to Kevin Smith, is that you? And I go, yeah. And he goes, okay. He said, I'll listen to that one. And I go, well, that one's from 2011, but if you want to hear our new theme song and all that, like, listen to...
He's like, you got a theme song?
And so, yeah.
Oh, my God.
So I couldn't...
There's Mike's calling. He's always wanted to be a famous musician, working as a musician.
Yeah, he's
fucking
like,
makes theme songs for fucking podcasts.
Well, that's what was funny. Like I said, when I first reached out to Mike, and he was like, "That's actually what we do now. We do themes for YouTube and podcasts." And I was like, "Oh, cool." So he said, so he's like, so I said, I can't pick just one. Just go ahead and listen to Ode to Kevin Smith. And so then he wrote me that night, and he was like, okay. He goes, yeah, I just listened to it. Here's a review I sent. And he sent a real good review. And he said he listened to like 2 of them, and that he laughed really hard. So I was like, oh, cool, awesome. So I want to give a shout-out to Those Movie Guys podcast, which they talk about movies and whatever, either what's coming out, what's in the theaters, what are you watching, stuff like that.
And we'll get to that, because I want to bring up to you about Black Panther and the stupid stuff going on about that. That'll tie into our old people talk.
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't either. I haven't seen it either. Then we should go. I have those. I want to go see it. And Danielle
and I are going to go tonight, yeah.
Fuck
you're busy. God. Oh, well, we can go after your meeting.
Yeah, whatever. I don't have a meeting on
Shawn has
Monday anymore.
Oh, you don't? Oh.
No. I started drinking again.
And I hope you're joking.
I'm joking, people.
Every time
on that 1,081 days.
Awesome.
I'm March 14th. No, nothing on the arm. No, I forget what the fuck do they always call that?
March 14th.
When because like if you get drugs on the arm.
Like injections or
like where they're giving it to you. Oh, no fronts. So like you can't get any fronts on days. But I'm coming up on my 3 years.
Sounds almost like a rap thing too.
God,
yo, no fronts with me, yo, something like that.
God damn it! It was just funny because I pulled up Instagram and I saw the picture you put on Instagram and I was like, oh, those are my favorite. And I'm like, oh, it's from Phillip.
Yeah, 181 days today. The other guy on Instagram, and then I got to get to this observation because it's funny. So there's this podcast called Mullets and Memories. And I was like, oh my God, that's genius because it's about MacGyver.
Oh God.
So they'll watch like an episode of MacGyver, separately. Then they'll get together, do the podcast and have their notes and oh, what about Mac knowing how to, Mac broke into this jail all of a sudden because this woman just said, go save my brother. And he was like, I just barely met you, but I'm going to go I'm going to go get arrested and help this guy out.
Like the A-Team.
Yeah, exactly. So I said, that's a brilliant idea. For one, it's a great name, Mullets and Memories.
So
go ahead.
Okay, don't let me, I'll write it down. Okay. Go ahead, keep going. Right. I want to interrupt.
So, so I'm like, that's a great idea. So then I'm like, and with the, like, I like this podcast. I like the way it is. But, of course, you and I have always like, well, should we do more investigative stuff, stuff like we did before MK Ultra, or should we just do this?
Right.
And I think I've figured out this thing might work better with a little bit of the other. But anyway, so then I started thinking, well, maybe I should change the podcast and I was thinking do a sideshow, on like two, other days of something. Mm-hmm. So I wrote Joe and I said, hey, Joe, how about we do a podcast on Perfect Strangers? We watch a show. I go, it's on Hulu. We watch an episode. We do a show, and we'll go through all 4 seasons.
And you and I can do it on Soldier of Fortune.
Yeah. Oh my God. Or,
and then we could. And this would be a way to get me to watch TV. And then the new one with with
the
Angel.
Valor. Yeah.
With Angel.
Yeah. Every time I see that, I think, well, same thing with that the show, The Unit was kind of like that. Yeah. But so I said, Joe, how about we do Perfect Strangers? And Joe wrote a text from Joe where I asked him if he wanted to do a podcast about Perfect Strangers. Watch every episode, do a podcast on each episode. Joe said, and I quote, yeah, but I don't care to watch a 30-year-old TV show that I'm not sure I even liked 30 years ago. So I was like, wow. So I said,
but the idea of that, and see, that's listen to the book. Let's try to figure out how to get that. Or I don't know why your iTunes would be doing that, because if it's on there, it should be moving.
Well,
over.
And we'll look at it when we're done recording here.
But there's a thing in there like where.
We're talking about Ready Player One.
Yeah, Ready Player One. I'm listening to it again now because I've listened to all my podcasts. I'll get more into that.
Yeah.
But I'm listening to it again now. This is like the third time, and it's just stuff to have in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a thing where like they go into war games, and
that's what I think these guys, those movie guys were talking about.
As he's going through war games, he has to do the lines. He has to play the part of Matthew Broderick, and then even like do the act, the parts that he is acting it out in there. And if you get him, like if you get really close to the action that he did in the movie, you get more points.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. And it's all stuff that could be done in that universe because of the virtual reality. And stuff like that. So
no, that's what those guys were talking about. They were talking about Ready Player One and war games, and then they said, "What about that movie? Like, there's no way that in that time that the schools were keeping everything on computers. They did not have a teacher just had an A, and the teacher is going to come to class and go, wait a minute, all of a sudden Matthew Broderick's got an A?
Right.
No, you had an F when I left on
There was a kid
Friday.
when I was growing up in Sioux Falls, and he was a handicapped kid, was in a wheelchair, but he had a computer, and it was like one of these. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It was like one of these big computer things that was portable. It was like probably like one of the first laptop things, but it just like the front part of it was like 6 inches tall, and the keyboard folded down from that, and then it had a tiny like 4-inch screen on it or something like that. Yeah. And like I'd even borrow it from him and play this ninja game. Well, and he had something on there that was like thermonuclear whatever, and it would just count
global
down.
Thermonuclear war.
And we got so freaked out as kids because he started it the one time, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I just got into this program, and I did." I think he knew that he was fucking around the whole time.
You guys.
But I was just like, "Dude, what the fuck's going on? You need to stop it."
Make it stop.
Pull out the fucking, shut the power off. He's like, "It's not going to matter." And I think he would connect it to the phone line even.
Yeah.
Or I don't remember, but I
whatever.
Remember,
as
we
kids,
fucking,
like
when it was counting
shit.
down, I was like freaking out. I'm like, we got to go outside. We got to tell our parents. He's like, no, we just got to do that. And I'm like, and then we went outside when it was getting to 0.
Yeah.
And I was expecting to see like planes flying over. I was freaking out, and then nothing happened. I think about it now. I'm like, fuck, you were stupid.
Well, and it's
but as a kid, like it was that kind of stuff was out in the stuff, and hacking and computer stuff. That was the first starting of it.
Yeah. Well, it was just it's just all. It was like there was a movie
I think
called
War Games was just out at that time too.
Well, and then after that, I think there was a movie called The Day After, and it was done like a news show, like news, but it was after the war.
Right.
The bombs were just going to hit or whatever,
right.
And it was like, holy shit.
Yeah, there was one of those that was like a made-for-TV movie where they had like these suburban kind of things that could drive around. So, I fucking thought that was the greatest thing as a kid.
But
it's funny too because in this thing he's talking about like the guy who created this thing was a huge 80s, grew up in the 80s, but then they're like he was 8 years old when this movie came out, and I'm like, well, wait a second, I would have been like 11 or 12 years old when that movie came out, so I would have been a little bit older than what this person was in this in this thing, the guy who created all this. But I'm like, pretty much my development years were around that time. Like I wasn't a teenager, but I was preteens going into that, so all those movies had a major impact on my life. That book and that movie will fit into this kind of thing because that's when we grew up.
Yeah, well,
the John Hughes stuff, the Breakfast Club, War Games, all that stuff those were integral things.
Yeah, and I'm
in our development as children.
Well, that's what's funny, and I'm 3 years older than you. So that was like all those movies. Like I remember specifics, and I
remember, if you leave, don't look back.
Yeah.
I loved that song. I would fucking listen to it on my headphones and fucking ride my bike all over town.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Just that music, everything of it.
Yeah, I used to have the that first.
OEM.
I think it was her first album, Madonna's first album, True Blue, whatever album that was. That whole album was good. I remember driving around with that cassette on my bike, like, that was a good song. But anyway, so we got an email, and I wanted to apologize for something because I got called out on this email. Hey guys, Shawn, I appreciated everything that you said about sexual harassment and women's rights in the Hollywood. We were talking about Hollywood. Thank you very much. Philip, you on the other hand, can suck Danny Masterson and Kevin Smith's cock. You are heartless. Just because you like what they do as a profession doesn't make their personal actions okay.
Wait, Kevin Smith was in trouble?
Kevin Spacey.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Kevin Smith.
No, Kevin Spacey.
I think you said Kevin Smith.
I might have said Kevin Smith. Kevin Spacey's cock. They
suck. He would like that.
They suck and you suck. Manson Hansen rules. Yours truly, Shawn's mom. So I didn't know your mom listened to the show, but I was thinking about what I said like after the show. Then I was like, I was just like, but I like Kevin Spacey. See, almost right, and I like Danny Masterson.
Yeah, I didn't want to believe that when I heard the thing about Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, that can't be. And I'm like, well, why the fuck can it be? Of course it can be.
Well, and then
we know him. I like him as an actor. I love what he did in American Beauty. I love Kaiser Soze.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Doesn't mean he's that he's not a raging fucking asshole that fucking walking around with his dick out everywhere.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing that Joe and I run into with at least Tom Cruise. Like Tom Cruise is a nutcase, Scientologist, whatever. But I like his movies.
Yeah, and he's coming out with another fucking Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'll be in line.
I like the premise, just to segue off into that. It sounds like Anthony Hopkins is being like, yeah, how many times are they going to fuck him over before he actually fucking goes rogue? Does something against them. And he's proven time and time again that he can fuck them up no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
So how long is it going to be? One of the things that I wrote down in here.
Well, and it's like someone said, don't forget what you wrote
now.
Down.
Okay. So, podcast.
Okay.
You're talking about, like, new directions, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, us. Yeah, so I didn't talk about Sergio yet, but go ahead and tell me about Sergio.
So, yeah, and this will lead into that, and if you want to talk, go ahead, and if you were going to bring that up.
Okay, well, yeah, I had forgot, but thank you.
Okay.
So, the other day, it was me, Shawn, Sergio, and Joe doing the podcast, and Chip at one point.
Yeah.
Then Chip was like, you know what, that's not for me. You guys made fun of me. And then he realized that he overreacted. But I was like, it's probably best because our humor was weird and yours isn't. And he was like, okay. He said, I get it. That makes sense. So then there was 4. And then, or 3, if me, I'm the regular host, and then you guys co-host. So then Sergio the other day said, let's meet up. I said, oh, good, we can catch up. And I'm like, and at first I was like, you want me to come over to the house and I can bring the podcast equipment? We could do a podcast, and I'm just right down the street from your work if you want to stop by. He's like, let's just chit-chat, let's just talk. I said, okay.
Over the phone.
Yeah, no. So we meet over at Starbucks, and I sit down, and we're talking.
Oh, God, not even at his house?
And, no.
He didn't even let you come to his new house?
Because it was, I said, where do you want to meet? He goes, how about Starbucks close to work? I was like, okay. It was middle of the week. It was last Wednesday. So I'm like, okay. So we meet, and we're talking, and I was telling him about these Instagram podcast community stuff, and I go, that's pretty cool. And then he goes, yeah, I got something to tell you, like I can't do the podcast anymore. And I was like, oh, man. I go, well, that sucks. But I go, you haven't been on for 2 years, so it's
Has it been that long?
Yeah. I said,
wow.
I looked it up, and March 19th of 2016.
I can't believe we've been doing it for this long.
We started in 15. So I said, March 19th of 2016, when you were talking about hearing voices, then you disappeared, and everybody thought, like, did Shawn go
everybody
crazy? Like, what happened? All of our
people
fans,
that listen to the show?
our 3 fans, yeah.
And there's 3 other podcasts.
I said, so they all, I said, at one point, I said, rest in peace, Sergio. And I said,
kind of like
and
you did
Joe,
with me.
And I said, and Joe was like, well, no, that was totally different. This was on air that I said it out loud. The other one was in my head where I said, if I don't see Shawn, I guess we had a good run. So with Joe, I was like, rest in peace. Like, we were recording it, and he goes, what about Sergio? And I said, rest in peace, Sergio.
Oh, okay.
And Joe goes, what? Why? What happened? And I go, no, I just meant he hasn't been around and he's busy. And so Sergio's like, no. He goes, I may be starting a job teaching at ASU, like at Cronkite. They have CBS or whatever that he works for has.
Well,
their
they
own
have
thing.
they have the Walter Cronkite School of Broadcasting.
Yeah, so he's like, so I'll be teaching over there, and I
you
put
should
in
probably
for it,
take his other shows down.
He said, I said, so I can't play. I said, even the reruns or whatever. He goes, no, you can play the reruns, like all that's fine. He said, I just from now on, Okay. And I was like, okay.
To me, I think that's awesome because. Yeah. It's even if he was going for political party or whatever, he's an intelligent and enough of a person to be like, you know what, that's what my life was at that time. And that's and I think like a lot of those actors and stuff like that were having this stuff. Like what's his name, the comedian guy. He could have been like
Louis C.K.
No, the one at the military where the girl was sleeping and he acted like he was
the senator,
right?
Yeah,
but it's like if he would have came out and been
Smiley.
like, "Hey, I'm sorry that happened. I'm sure it did. That was a different time in my life, and I'm terribly sorry that I did that. And if I offended anyone, I very much regret it. And the person that I am today, would never do anything like that.
Yeah,
done." Everybody wants to forgive somebody, and as long as you admit it and come up to it, then you're fine with it. In my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing when it comes to like that stuff from a long time ago. But so that's what happened. So then I tell Shawn and Joe like, hey, Sergio's done. I told Joe, I go, and I had asked Sergio when Chip left, do you still want to be involved? He said, yeah, that was before the thing came up. So now it's me, you, and Joe. And so I was like, well, Danielle goes, just fold it up, do the free one, where you're not paying $10 a month. And I said, no, I enjoy doing this, and it'll be okay. And I told Joe the other day, I said, you're off on days that I'm not off. So I said, we can never make those meet. That's why lately it's just been you and me. So it's like, trying to figure something out. And then part of me goes, maybe I should just do it on my own.
What's the free one?
So the free one is it's called Blog Talk Radio, and you only have 30 minutes. And you have to do it over the phone because that was one. Okay. When I first started, I paid the $40 a month, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
So I was paying $40 a month, thinking everybody help me, and nobody did. So I was like, well, I'm
never
paying
knew you were looking for that.
So I was like,
Maybe
forget
you
it.
did,
Well,
but-
no, not at the time, but then
Right.
later I was like, if you all pay anyway. So so now $10 is fine. But go ahead with what you were going to say.
Oh, no. So one thing that you had sent me, this is before you had said anything about the Sergio thing, or you may have known about it, but I didn't. And you had sent me the thing about like the new pitcher, the new podcast thing, and it was 2. And I'm like, no, you should keep the original 4 one where it's like your shirt, but where it's the 4 outlines. Because I'm like, there's 4 people plus you. I'm like, you should keep that, and then when it's on the show. But now that it is just me and you and
Right.
Joe, you need to find to where it's just the 3 outlines to see if there's one of those that's just a 3 outline one, or something like that.
Well, and the reason why I thought of the 2 was because
it is just you
it's
and
only 2.
Yeah,
me
yeah.
and one other
And-
person
and-
on the show. It's not 4
and
of us.
in that context, yes, in my opinion, you should change it then. And it's completely up to you. It's your show, but there's not as many people doing it anymore. So and if it is just you and me, or you and one other person doing the show.
Yeah.
So you could put that up on the show. Yeah. Another thing that I was did you on there? Sorry.
Too late. Everybody, thousands of people just yawned because of that.
Good.
I know.
A thing they were talking about on a video game podcast. PlayStation VR, the price is dropping.
Oh, really?
On it, like big time. Like, I think at one place you could get it for like $150 now or something like that, or it's like $200 everywhere. But the guy was talking about it. He goes, "Yeah, there's people doing their podcasts on VR now," and I'm like, "Wow!" And he's like, "Goes apparently like you can set it up to where you silence the other people." So that they can't interrupt and talk into it and stuff, but they could watch it, and you can set it up to where there's different camera angles and all this stuff. But they're setting up like doing VR podcasts,
like people sitting at a table, like you and I, like
but it's in virtual.
Yeah.
But it's in like virtual reality. You can create the area that you're in the virtual
you
reality.
Could be on the beach, or
I could be
on
at
your
my
Destiny
place.
moon or something.
Well, no, but I could be at my place on my VR. You could be here on your VR.
Oh, yeah.
And it's being, and then there could be people in their VRs that are watching the show and stuff like that. I just thought it was. I'm like, wow, that's
different.
Again, getting back to Ready Player One, where so much of that stuff is virtual reality, and it's like, if they really did it, there's a lot of stuff that could be done. And it's interesting to think about, like, wow, you could get a VR rig for cheap now, and maybe you could potentially, get in and do a whole broadcast, a virtual reality broadcast kind of thing.
Yeah, well, and even like you said before about playing Destiny and being on the moon with your son and watching the Earth or whatever.
Yeah, and you're in the military in Kuwait, and your dad's here in Phoenix, and you guys can have
10 minutes.
Have a show together.
Your dad's like, I got to go. We got to go invade Baghdad. Wait, what, Dad? That's the last time.
No, the son was in Baghdad,
Rest
and
in
the
peace,
dad
Dad.
was.
Oh, see, I was thinking a young son.
No.
And a young, that means he was preconceived in some relationship they had, like he was cheating on his wife with a Korean, and the kid's name is Young. Anyway,
Young, gotcha. I was like, where are you going with this? That's
where I was going. I realized in my head I had it all played out. He's like your made in Korea shirt.
Yep.
Not Shawn's, but his nephew. So then observations, inappropriateness at work, and then we'll get into getting old.
Okay.
So I'm at work, and this guy Khalaf from Iraq was he used to be in the military in Iraq, Iraqi.
Oh, okay.
He's from Iraq.
With the name
born
Khalaf,
and raised. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't get your joke. I went right over my head and hit the thing behind me. So he came into he was like, "Hey, Brian, one of these guys that was my boss."
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Hey, Brian, can you do my taxes? Help me with my taxes." So for some reason, Brian said, "Yeah, come in at noon. We'll look at it." Says, "Okay." So he comes in, but he doesn't come in at noon. Comes in at like 2 or 3. I get there at 5 for a meeting, and the guy's still there. And he's playing country music on his phone. And he's been here 6 years now or more in America. But on his phone...
And he doesn't know how to do taxes?
Right. And on his phone, he's playing country music.
Right.
And and just playing the same song over and over that he really loves. And we're just like, okay, but then me and Brian are trying to have this conversation, trying to have a meeting, and he's sitting.
Don't break my heart, my achy, breaky heart.
I wish. And but it was something else, and so it was just
the
like,
roll.
So we're trying to talk, and it was more modern, but I love that one too, the extended version, and so I'm just like, oh my God, like we're trying to have this thing. And then all of a sudden,
shut the fuck up.
He's talking to another guy, and we're in the office, and he's talking to this other guy that works for us that might be, under me. We're trying to move him up. He's talking to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm on what's that thing? Swipe left, swipe right, Tinder." He goes, "I'm on Tinder." Kalop's like, "Oh, I'm on Tinder. I find, and we're like, okay, cool." And then
that wasn't racist, people. He was just doing impersonation.
That's right. So that you knew it wasn't me. And so he's like, he goes, "Oh yeah, look, I like, this woman, she wrote me back. I'm gonna like her back. I'm gonna write her back." And that other guy goes, "Whoa," his name's David. He goes, you don't write him back right away. Like, it's kind of like, you wait and then you go, "Oh yeah, I just got your message." He's like, No, I like her. Look at her boobies. I like big boobs." And we're like, okay. And me and Brian are talking, and I'm just thinking, like, does he not realize he's in the office? And then all of a sudden he goes, "I like big boobs, and I like Asians because they have tight pussies." And we go, and that guy David goes, "Okay." And then he goes, "Hey Brian," now this is his boss, right under the owners. "Hey Brian, you like different pussies? Have you had different pussies?" And Brian's like, yeah. And he's like, you like." Who you like, type pussy?
I like how he went from a Middle Eastern accent to now it's like
He's
a
kind of
Russian,
Mexican.
Italian, fucking Mexican. Hey, you like a tight pussy? We got wet pussy. We got tight pussy.
So he's like, he goes, "You like now I can't even
now
think
now it's stuck in your head.
Goes, right.
Just do it in your own voice. Excuse me, Brian.
He goes,
"Do you like pussy?"
Yeah.
Do you like a different pussy?
Yeah. I like
to sit on my hand.
Yeah. I like the tight pussies. He goes, "Do you like
No, I like them fucking loose."
He goes, "You like the different pussies?" And Brian's like, I like my wife. He goes, "Yeah, I've dated other women." He was just like,
"I'm not going to entertain this question."
Yeah, he was just like, "Yes, I've had that. I like my wife." And he's like, "Oh, because I like pussy. Like, what's the best pussy you've had?" And Brian's just like, whatever. And so then...
how many people are in the office at this point, and are there any women in the office?
It's me, David.
Okay, so this is just Trump locker room talk.
Pretty much.
Okay.
But...
And that doesn't make it okay, people.
Right, still inappropriate. Me, Brian, David, Koloff, and then in the other room, right on the other side of this wall with a big window, is Keith, the owner, and then Gary's in the other room. So it's just like, oh my gosh.
And can they hear this going on?
But I think they were in the middle of their own conversation. But so then he goes, "Print up this picture," and it's a picture of him when he was in Iraq military with an American military guy. He's like, "Print up this picture. Keith says we can put up on the wall. I want to put it on the wall." So we print him up one, and then he goes, "Print me up another one in color." And me and Brian are like, "That costs money. We're not going to print up this 17 pictures, like, go to Kinko's." And so he's like, okay. So we give him the one picture. So the picture's at the top, and then on the bottom he writes, "America, fuck yeah." And then he puts it up right by the door when you're leaving our office.
At least he didn't put on there, "I like tight pussy."
Right, exactly.
"I like tight Asian pussy."
So he puts that up there, and then he goes, he says, "Well, what about, how did he say that? He's like, what about, Gary goes to leave, the co-owner, and Gary's like, "Hey,
what's this?
You can't put that up at work. This is a place of work, and you can't write stuff like that." No, it means America good. America, like, fuck yeah, like America." And he's like, like Team America, and he's like, "You can't put that." But then, of course, Keith and Gary leave. Brian and, Koloff leave. They all leave. Brian and I are like, what the fuck was that all about? Brian leaves and everything. Then for that weekend, the office is closed, but every time I come in, I see that note up there, the thing up there. So I take it down, and I put it in Keith's office, and I write a Post-it note on it. This is inappropriate. Every time I left, I would see it. And if a client happens to come in to be like, I want to see where you guys run stuff from, they're going to walk out and they're going to see that. And so Keith ended up ripping that part off and just putting the picture up. So,
and then he wrote me a Post-it note back and said, Philip, get your panties out of your fucking vagina.
Yeah, well, and that's what I said.
Fucking stand-up wiper.
That's what I said. I said, I don't mean to be totally inappropriate. I mean, I don't mean to be like whatever.
Did you take a picture? Do you have a picture of this picture?
No.
What is wrong with you?
I will take a picture of it.
You can't anymore. Now it doesn't say America fuck yeah.
Well, that's true.
There's no point. I don't want to see an Iraqi guy with an American guy in military uniform.
Right. No.
I wanted to say America fuck
America fuck yeah. Yeah, handwritten underneath it.
In Arabic.
Yeah. But I got this picture to show you.
Infidel.
So then this guy at work named Nick, he
good name dropping.
Yeah, well, you know. He I almost was going to leave it out, but whatever. He goes the other day I wrote him, and he's racist and all kinds of stuff.
Sounds like most of the people that your bosses hire.
Yeah, well, sometimes. And so the other day I wrote him and I said, "Hey, are you interested in this overtime? You know, blah blah, an extra day." And he goes, "Do monkeys like rap music?" So I was like, "What?" I didn't think the racist thing. I was like, "What the fuck does that mean?" So I go to write
Holy
WTF.
Shit.
So I go to write WTF, and then I stop and I go, "Oh, that was a racist comment." I go, "That's inappropriate," because before I'd been, oh, whatever, you know,
right.
Let it slide. So this time I'm like, no, fuck it. So I go, "That's inappropriate." I said,
this is a work-related text message.
Yeah, and I'm like, "So that's inappropriate." And he goes, "Wow, why you got it?" He goes, "What's so offensive about this?" A monkey with headphones on. He sends me a picture of that, and he goes, "What's so offensive about that?" And I go, "That's not what you meant. You meant, you know, it in a racist way." And I said, "So don't write me that stuff."
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know, and he's like, "Okay, from now on I won't joke with you." And, you know,
good.
And I said,
keep it that
okay.
fucking way.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's like, all right. It's like, Jesus. And so then, oh yeah, I was going to look that up. So then we're getting to the old stuff. So then,
God damn it, get off my
I
yard,
said,
you goddamn fucking monkeys with your bananas.
So we're talking about the good and the bad of the way the world is now. So a woman I just heard before you got here on the news who her son was choking and she didn't know what to do, so she went to Facebook and asked for help.
Did her son die?
No. And she saved her son.
She should have. From the help with Facebook?
And, yeah.
Then her son wasn't fucking choking.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Because if he was choking, she would not have.
Well, imagine she went to Yahoo Answers, and those guys wrote her like, "Your kid will get through it. Just shake it off. Shake it off like Taylor Swift. You
need to go and fucking fart in his face."
Yeah. But it was something good that happened. There was that movie by your guys that you love. I think it was by them, but it was The Rock. It was San Andreas, where the earthquakes and all that. Some kid.
Why, I like The Rock now?
No, you like those. You like.
The disaster
day after tomorrow.
God, that's a fucking.
But the guy,
I'm afraid to go back and watch it because I probably won't hold up.
But the guy, but some
You're
kid,
like, it never held up the first time.
I know. But some kid was watching San Andreas, you know, and loved it. And then all of a sudden, a friend of his was choking or was drowning or soming.
So
and
he saved the people's elbow?
He saved, yeah, that's right. That'd be awesome.
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Dear Yahoo Answers, I saw The Rock do this once, you know. But it was because he saw The Rock save a kid, and they went through the real thing on San Andreas. So that's how the kid saved his friend's life.
Cool.
Was doing what he learned on that. So it was like, oh, that movie's not a total piece of shit.
Yeah.
So, okay, now.
Remember however many years ago it was, I think I probably had this discussion with you. Like, who's going to be the next action star?
Yeah.
Arnold's getting too old. Yeah. Arnold's way too old. He can't hold it up anymore. All of them were getting too old.
Even Matt Damon, the one who came in after that. Yeah.
And he's not. He wasn't. He was more of a everyday kind of. He wasn't like commando.
Yeah,
he wasn't like Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
There was none of these over the top action stars. Arnold Schwarzenegger getting shot in the arm and then holding on to a fucking, crane.
Yeah.
That was shooting an M60.
Yeah, yeah.
Matt Damon, couldn't do that. He wasn't, huge and ripped. So it's like, who is it going to be? Vin Diesel? He doesn't have the fucking chops to do it.
Well, that or the muscle.
Well, he was the only kind of muscular person.
Yeah.
Fucking what's his name? Fucking karate guy, the driver guy.
Dang it, the driver guy
was on Untouchables. The second in command guy on the Invulnerables or on
on what's his name from Black Rain?
Expendables.
Oh, the Expendables.
Yeah, Expendables.
I'm sorry.
Expendables.
I'm like Untouchables.
Jason Statham.
I was thinking Andy Garcia.
Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Driver guy, karate guy,
right.
Untouchables.
Okay, right.
You're you're going back to fucking
Untouchables. You said Untouchables.
Yeah,
so I was thinking stopping the baby carriage coming down the stairs and he shot the guy. Yeah. Andy Garcia. A young Andy Garcia.
Yeah, but we're old for I don't even like that movie.
Oh my god.
I don't think I've ever even seen that. I've seen that scene.
There's a story.
But I've never watched that movie.
There's a story I love to tell Joe. A guy gets killed. Spoiler alert, but it's a 30-year-old movie.
If you haven't watched it by now, fuck off.
Guy gets shot in the elevator. And
I want to tell you a story.
And when you go in there, when they walk into the elevator, in his blood is written "touchable" on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Joe thought the dead guy wrote, like, we're touchable. Like, they killed me and we're touchable.
Oh, God, look, we are touchable.
Had the time to write T. Oh, like, and it was like, I was like, no, Joe, Joe's like, I realized.
Scribbles it out. I can't spell, I'm losing too much blood.
Goes, I realize now that was a mob that wrote, you guys are touchable.
Yeah.
Like, you're not untouchable. So it was funny where Joe was like, I always thought, But anyway, yeah, I think with The Rock now doing
drew a fucking penis and blood.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's
a. Remember, like all the Disney things, like with the dildos on the covers. And, and all this kind of stuff.
Little Mermaid.
And I have to look it up, but apparently, like, there's these studios in China that just like Horizon Zero Dawn. They created like 11 of the 20 dinosaurs. They're the same studio who does stuff for Microsoft. So it doesn't matter if it's, Sony, Microsoft, whatever, all made in China.
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah.
Like Sony, Drake's Uncharted.
Yeah.
This studio worked on it.
Yeah. They've
Xbox,
had their hands in every
Xbox,
little.
This studio, these developers worked on it. So it's all, all this outsourced kind of stuff that is there. And the person said that one of the things that, like, even on Destiny, there was an emblem in Destiny that apparently is very racist in certain parts of the world. It came from probably this, one of these outsourced studios.
Yeah.
So they said one of the major things that you have to double check for is genitalia and swear words and stuff in these things. And I'm just like, and they're like, why would that be? And they're like, because it's a guy. It's a guy at a desk, and
bored.
He's going to fucking put penises and stuff. And I'm like, goes right back to Fight Club. He's splicing in fucking pictures of fucking penises into fucking Disney movies.
Well, and there was something, they had it on Hollywood Babylon. Somebody, they have shit that should not be, and they'll send something. And it was from either Winnie the Pooh or something, and they went by, or some Disney movie, and they went by a house. And in the house, you could see a woman, like, taking her top off or something. And then something else was they're going down a cave, and on the cave wall was, like, written a dick or something, and it was like, he just threw that
that's
in there.
fucking, because guys are immature fucking children.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but speaking of old Disney, first of all, I want to look this up, but I missed kind of the name, but it's called Grubhub. It's they make, like, either dildos, or I don't know if it's just dildos and vibrators, or if they make a
Grubhub
for a man.
I thought Grubhub was
Grubhub.
Oh, I thought it was like Grubhub. Like, I thought they delivered food to your house.
But this one is, after you masturbate with your vibrator, you'll get a pizza. Like, it's hooked up to, like, after you masturbate, your pizza will come. so you can just relax and eat a pizza, and then go to bed.
It knows when you come, or do you have to push a button?
I don't know if when you turn the vibrator
And how
off,
does it know that, like...
Yeah.
And what, for women? Women want to have a pizza?
That's the thing. I have not looked at it.
Or?
Might be, that's what I'm saying. It might be a man thing, but I don't know if it's men or girl. I
and
do you have
to put your preferences in, or does it just assume you want a cheese pizza, or do you...
That is interesting, yeah.
You know, let's think this through.
Yeah,
and you need to check your facts, because I don't know if this is necessarily true.
All I know is the name.
I think you're making shit up.
So there's a local station called 98 KUPD, and they have, in the morning, they have morning news with Brady Bogan. And so he had mentioned it. So, but I didn't have a pen or anything. I had a phone. I know you're going to go, you had a phone? You could have written it?
No.
Anyway, I think
don't
it's Grub
care,
Rub.
but I think you should
I think it's
check
Grub
your
Rub,
facts.
but I will check it for next time that you and I or me and somebody do a show. Because with your attitude, you're going to be leaving the show. No.
I want people to know that they can come to this show.
Yeah.
And that what we say is factual.
Yeah, we're not fake Yahoo answers. Yeah, no, exactly.
No, I
know. You want
really. I wanted to know so that because I may or may not have just ordered a fleshlight, and I want to be able to know if I can fucking.
That's
if
why
I
you
have
were
to
like.
Fucking,
that's why you were like.
Yeah, I
when
thought
Shawn
maybe
sat down, he's like,
thought,
"Is that oil? Because that's like a travel size, and I can take that." And I'm like, "No, it's cleaner." And then he's thinking about.
Yeah,
I
you
wonder,
probably have
fleshlights.
Like, no. You probably tried them.
No, I don't. I've been curious.
Yeah,
which
so you know,
I think my dad has. And now you
can you put a USB into it so that it, you know,
like you said, you could order.
Is it a USB 3.0? Do I need a new computer to be able to plug it into it?
And then you could play a newer game where you order the pizza, try to get off before the pizza
pizza guy gets there. Yeah, I don't think I'd have any trouble with that.
Yeah,
which is why I wouldn't get a fleshlight, because it's like, why spend money on something that only takes 2 seconds?
Yeah, exactly. I need somewhere to catch it. I guess that would be good. But,
it's called a paper towel. I can get fucking 50 of them for a penny.
Shawn, I'm eating here. That's my gross. I have a paper towel sitting next to my lunch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Masturbating with it.
Well, here, you can have it. It's still dry in this part.
Gross.
Is that mayonnaise? What was it? Somebody had a thing on where they're like, if you eat eggs, you're eating just fried sperm. It's like, yeah, it's pretty much what it is.
We had a conversation at, and then we will get to our main topic. We had a conversation.
We've been talking about the main topic this whole time.
Kind of. We had a conversation we were there on Christmas or Thanksgiving at the in-laws, and we were talking about chickens. I always thought chickens, when they lay eggs, that's just an aborted baby. Like, they just, for some reason, it didn't have time to hatch, and they broke it before. You know, you get it before. What it is they can lay all kinds of eggs unless they're fertilized. Mm-hmm. So a chicken will lay eggs all the time. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know this until like 10 years ago. So they just lay, you know.
Yeah, they lay eggs no matter what.
The eggs are regular. They're not baby chickens. They're not dead baby chickens. They're just eggs. And so we were talking about this.
But there's sometimes when you do get a chicken egg that has
blood in it,
and an eyeball.
Yeah, half a beak. Yeah. I'm like, oh, failed experiment, and then I eat it anyway.
Yeah, whatever.
Beak out. So her mom was like, "Oh, guys, stop!" And I thought she meant more stop.
Yeah, wait a second. I don't know about this. Where does it get fertilized from then?
From a rooster. Or
no
whatever.
shit.
Yeah.
But where does it fuck the chicken first?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so you think so? So yeah,
right.
So we don't know. This is
not
something
factual.
Right?
No,
this is
down.
No, and that's
right.
I just want to make sure, because I'll look this up, because I'll look into it. Like, does the rooster? Because fish, and people are gonna. If anyone listened to this, they'd be like, "What a fucking idiot!"
Two old guys talk about chicken and fish.
Because fish, like the fish lay the eggs, and then the male fish just comes over and fucking like over the top of the eggs in the fucking water, and they get fertilized.
Yeah,
I would assume that a rooster doesn't just come over and be all,
Right,
because then anything could fucking come on the edge.
So I think it's that thing where, you see birds like they flutter because they're trying to stay
makes
up.
Sense. Because like eagles, I know eagles like fall out of the air and they're
sounds
having
like
sex
because the eagle porn that I watch, it's always
whatever.
In mid, there's one
in VR.
You thought ordering pizza and coming before your pizza got there was risky.
Yeah.
Imagine you're an eagle and you got before you hit the ground, you guys are in mid
and separate.
Yeah, and then separate
in enough time to be able to be like
with America, fuck yeah, play as you right after you
in a Middle Eastern accent.
Full circle, yeah. Oh yeah, tight pussy, fuck yeah.
What was that?
So,
that wasn't Middle Eastern at all.
No,
that was like Asian,
a little Asian, yeah. Tight pussy.
Tight pussy.
It's like a kamikaze pilot. That's what he says before he hits the Arizona.
Did you say
pussy.
diet pussy? I thought you said diet pussy.
Somebody on the deck of the Arizona. The guy's saying diet. He said diet pussy. Boom. I wish I could draw. I'd draw that. Diet pussy.
Oh, wow. Oh, God, my face hurts. I'm crying.
Oh, God. Okay, diet pussy. That's part of our title is diet pussy.
And I'm like, where did fucking diet pussy come from? Because he likes them little?
Yeah. It's like, he wants
What's a tight little pussy? I would too. Mine's as big as a house.
Speaking of Predator, those guys podcast, they said those movie guys, they were saying on there, they were talking about like new movies like Lady Bird, and the other guy goes, but it's no Predator. He goes, Predator's got diversity, and and that made me laugh, and then I put that in there.
I don't know where I came up, what got me down this rabbit hole, but it must have been something with the Predator movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's like whole fucking lore out there about the Predator species.
Oh, really?
Like they're the Waijun or something. There's apparently a name for them.
Wow.
For the species.
Interesting.
And there's like alpha ones and all this other stuff, and there's like multiple YouTube videos out there about these different lore people.
Wow.
Who have all like, and it's just like, holy, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's
they all live in their basements with their parents, apparently.
I
like the Predator. I watched the video, so
Yeah.
Thank you. I got information. I didn't know this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking for the toys.
Yeah. No, it's no, Predator is awesome, but what was it? Oh, and something that I like, because this goes into our nostalgia, what I love about Predator is when he's sets up the trap and everything, and he's waiting.
Did you know that Jean-Claude Van Damme was originally hired as the Predator?
Really?
Yes.
No, I didn't know that. Wow.
Another stupid thing that I learned on this.
Way too short.
This was on Joe Rogan, I think, and they were talking to Jesse the Body Ventura. Apparently, he's living in Mexico now because of whatever. And they were talking about no, he's choosing to live there because of whatever. But they were talking about Chris Kyle, and then he brought up something about Van Damme or the movie Predator or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, Van Damme was originally hired because of his martial arts and ballet or whatever, how he could move, that he could move
body movement in
the suit really well. And then when apparently he had a falling out with the director or whatever, because he didn't realize that he was going to be in the suit, that nobody was going to see who it was.
Yeah, that's funny.
So then they fired him and got somebody else to do it, obviously, or whatever. But apparently Van Damme was originally hired as the Predator, which I thought was just like, I'm like, wow, okay.
That's interesting. But what I liked was, and we should know that black guy's name, just like we know everybody else's name.
I didn't even know it was a black
much.
guy. That was
skinny black guy who also played Harry and the Hendersons. He played the big thing.
The Harry.
But what I liked was, so he sets up that trap and he's waiting there in the darkness. He's like, "Come on, kill me!" And the thing like looks and then sees the spikes and is like, "No, I'm gonna go around." And then he's like, "Oh fuck!" And as a movie watcher, you're like, no, that goes against my movie trope where he's supposed to fall for it and go in there and get killed. And so then you're like, oh, shit, you know.
This is almost real.
Yeah, yeah. So it makes you, that's what makes that movie good is things like that. But it's just a great movie. And I told you, if you want to borrow it, I have that special one.
Mm-hmm.
So, nostalgia. So, going back to...
Nostalgia, right there. Another nostalgic thing.
And going back to so then I found out that Scott Baio, who was in a show called Charles in Charge with a girl named
that show.
Nicole Eggert.
Love Nicole Eggert.
Oh, my God.
Probably fapped to her a bunch of times.
So it came out recently. Nicole Eggert said that when she was 17 years old, Scott Baio fingered her.
Okay,
and
so what? Now they're going back to saying that he was Is this a Me Too thing? That she was.
So now
he used his clout as Scott Baio.
Yeah, and he's upset because he's like, we've always been friends, everything's been fine, and now all of a sudden she's going to jump on this bandwagon of.
And I thought at the time, like, I was hitting on her.
He goes, he goes, this happened, we dated.
Was he using his influence to get her to do this and date him? Is that what she's claiming now?
I think so, or something. And he's saying that he's like a predator, and he's like, we were dating, not like a, come and kill me. And Scott Bale's like,
the chopper.
Yeah, Scott Bale's like, I just want to finger
my
you.
arm bomb, my arm bomb thing.
Setting his countdown. And Scott Bale's like, I just want to finger you.
Yeah, I want to date you. I'm a little bit of an older guy. You're a young, hot chick.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to get into your pants.
Yeah. So then, so that's been going. And then he went on Facebook Live and was like, no, none of this happened. And his wife was saying, like, no, this is all wrong. We were friends and this happened. Like, we dated. Yeah, that's, So anyway, so when I heard that at the time when I'm going, maybe Joe and I could watch Perfect Strangers. And then I'm like, hey, I said, Joe, what about doing Charles in Charge? And Joe's like, no. And then I said, hey, Chip, what about Charles in Charge? Like, you and I could do a separate Charles in Charge. And he's like, Chip goes, yeah, but every episode would just be like, you think he fingered that guy? Think he fingered that girl? I said, yeah, true. And so then I'm like,
he just smelled his fingers.
Yeah. I think he did, yeah. Probably,
That's funny.
Yeah, behind the scenes. So I was like, well, what about... So then I had talked about that, and then I was thinking, like, oh, what about the A-Team? So I'm looking on the A-Team to see if it's free somewhere where I could watch it with somebody. And then I'm like, I can't find that. And then it originally started with, I told Chip, I said, I love Quantum Leap. I always have. I said, we should do a Quantum Leap podcast. And Chip's like, oh, yeah, he's kind of interested. And then I looked it up, and there's like 3 or 4 podcasts on Quantum Leap. So I was some of them are older that have already stopped, and some whatever.
Yeah, because you're limited to your
And I was same thing with
episodes.
Same thing with the MacGyver guys. Right. They're coming close to the end, and I was like, "Are you guys going to do the TV movies that came out afterwards?" You know, and he was like, "Yeah, we found a couple of them. We're going to do those." But it's like now we're they have like a offshoot, so that one's called Mullets and Memories, and this other one's something else. So they have their own like.
You got to do like the Golden Girls.
But, and that's what I thought, too. So I was like,
Danielle.
Golden Girls is awesome. Danielle would just be like, this is gay. Just watch the show. That's it. I like Sophia, and I like, blah, blah, blah. Golden Girls, so good. And then Home Improvement. Like, I can put on Home Improvement.
His show, there was something where his show just got pulled off because of his whatever.
Well, they said, it was, months ago. Last Man Standing, they said, got pulled, and a lot of people were going, it was because he was kind of against Hillary, so he was more like that, but it was all for jokes, and he wasn't really pushing any agenda. He was just making jokes, and it was fun. And then he was like, our show didn't get canceled for that. It just got canceled, and I had all these people working for me, and now they're unemployed, and and the show they did enough shows where now they're on syndication. So now he's making his Disney money from Home Improvement, and now he's making his Last Man Standing money. But anyway, so I said all these shows that like, and then I said, what about Fall Guy? Because I love Fall Guy, and I've talked about Fall Guy all the time.
With my brother.
And I watch it, and I just go, it is dated, and it is a little cheesy. So my thing was like, if we could do a show like that, and then Chip and
Do
Joe
it
are
on
like,
Friends.
Chip and Joe are like, we don't care. Friends, it's like everybody does, there's a whole bunch of Friends.
Will and
podcast.
Grace.
That's why.
Have you seen the new Will and Graces?
Yeah.
They look
It's good.
exactly the fucking same.
Yeah, and everything's just it
It's
moved without. Yeah, it's still good.
It's fucking.
Yeah.
I didn't even. Still good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, good writing, and I liked it before.
I caught it. I watched it with Sandy all the time. We
okay.
thought it was great.
Yeah.
Like Karen was fucking awesome because I was a drug addict.
Yeah.
She's
Well,
like,
she still is.
Yeah, I know. I know. But I say I was because she'd be like, "Oh, give me a vodka on the rocks and make the rocks pills," and we're like, "Oh, that sounds fucking amazing." Yes.
And in the show now they've made her where like she's friends with Melania.
Oh, okay.
And so like Grace
like
even
she's
got
on the phone with them or something like. No, Melania.
Grace even got a job like decorating the Oval Office for Trump,
and
so then she went in there with Will, and they were doing that, and anyway,
that's
it was a whole
funny.
thing. But yeah, it was fun. It's still.
But
is.
it just seemed like it's not Will and Grace 10 years later. It's just
yeah.
But it's like, oh, here's Will and Grace, same apartment, same. It's just they just picked the show back up again. And it's like, okay, that's okay, whatever.
Yeah, they still did it where at the end, I don't know if you watch it all the way through, and we don't mean this to be a Will and Grace podcast, but at the end of the first run,
that's what we're bringing back.
That's right. At the end of the first run, it was okay. Will got married to the cop. She got married to the singer. He wasn't he was a doctor, but the guy, crooner. She got married to him, and then Jack. I forget what happened to Jack, but. So now it came back, and Jack's still living across from Will, and then she showed up and wanted to move back in with Will. Will's divorced, she's divorced, so.
Is that what it is?
They just, so then they've just kind of made it like, they even make a joke.
Life went on, and now they're just back to.
Yeah, Sean Hayes was like, it seems like you used to be married, and, it was like making an inside joke, like kind of thing. But now it's, it's still good.
It's kind of like, what happened after Jesus was born up until the last couple of years that we know about in the Bible? That's just kind of fuzzy there.
Yeah, exactly. It's just I only know about him when he was, I want to hear about the party years when he was 18 and when he first turned 21 and he could go to the bars. Yeah,
make water into fucking wine?
That's
Are
right.
you kidding me?
Yeah, he's like, don't go to the store. I got it. And they're like, awesome. So my thing is this. I think I told you about this. I went to this toy store, and they have old toy. It's an old toy. It's called Collectible Marketplace, and they had the Millennium Falcon, which I'd never had when I was young. It was $150. You
bought it?
No, and I'm like,
should I? Layaway.
I'm like, should I buy it? But that's my question. So I'm like, should I buy it? And I'm like, no, it's $150 for a used, already built, whatever. I'm not pulling it out of the box brand new.
No.
And even if I was. What am I going to... I'm going to put it over here with these toys.
That you never look at.
That I look at sometime. When I walk in to get my clothes out of my closet, I see them. No, so it's a thing of like, all it's going to do is hang from the ceiling.
Those things haven't been dusted. Yeah.
No, I cleaned them recently because my wife painted that. It used to be red.
Akia's shoulders are full of dust.
Whose?
Akira.
Akira.
His
name is Tetsuo. I think Akira is the guy with the trees coming out.
Yeah, with the trees.
But no, and then when my wife moved all that to take this to paint it, all of his little cords came off. Like he's got cords plugged into his machine gun and everything. Anyway, but my thing is, so it would just hang from the ceiling, but it's something.
I remember that Batarang. I was like, "Oh God, you got to get this special edition one." I think you were skeptical, and you were like, "I think you pretty much just got it because I was like, this is a good deal. You need to do it."
Well, I think when I looked at it, I'm like, "That is cool. It's a Batarang," and then you get it, and it's all one piece. It's on that wherever
stand.
It's on the stand, but that's it.
You can't even take it off and use it.
Yeah. So so then I said, so what did I? Oh, so it's like that South Park, the Member Berries South Park. It's like that where you remember all this stuff and it was great, but does it hold up?
Right.
And my thing is like the other day. Go ahead.
The memory of it is what that memory is.
Yeah.
I don't think if we go back and
it's like you said, like War Games. Like if we went back and watched War Games,
it's not going to be the same.
It's not going to hold up as well. And with Fall Guy, I can watch that and be like, that's cool, but I'm still not like back then. I was like, if I could be,
it was new.
If I could work in the movies and be a stuntman,
it can't be new anymore. For
yeah.
you at that time, it was new.
Yeah,
you know.
And then something that ruined me recently, but of course I had to watch all 10 episodes. Was not all 10, but it was. They redid Battle of the Network Stars.
Oh God, yeah, I remember.
And they used to do ABC against NBC against CBS, and now ABC put the show out. And I was telling Joe, "Oh, it's coming out," and Joe was like, "I wonder how they're going to do that. Like, how does
they're never going to
allow
before,
right? Yeah. Like before, how did that work? Where ABC's like, we'll run the show, but you guys come here, you know." And so it's like, you know, how do they, you know, why would CBS even partake in doing Dukes, you know, having the Dukes of Hazzard cast come on? So this one, I was like, how are they going to do it? So I watched that first episode, and it was all ABC people.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Facts of Life, and then they had Joey on there from Blossom, but they said, here's Joey from Joey and Melissa, the show that's on ABC Family.
Right.
So they were like, here, you know, and then they kind of mentioned Blossom, but not really. And then they had everybody on there from, you know, all these ABC shows. Goodness. Sorry about that. That was my phone hooked to my computer. Wow. Very sorry about that. Goodness. That was very loud. If anybody heard that, I'll try to mute that for the thing. I'll cut that out for the when I'm doing the
yeah, but then you're going to have to cut out this entire section of you talking about it.
Yeah. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
So it was. So I watched. So like then they had reality show stars on. So I would skip those shows, and then I'd watch the other one. And then I'm sitting there, and my wife's going, "What are you watching this crap for?" And I go, "Because like this is. It's not as what I remember like the originals, but it was still." I just wanted to see it, and I want to see all the old people that I know. So they had Balky on there from Perfect Strangers, but he's balding in the back, and you know he's older and a little fatter. And so it's the thing that I wanted to get to was several things on this show. That all the nostalgia, like I said, like these cartoons that are on my chest and that I shared on Instagram. Like I remember waking up Saturday morning,
love Saturday mornings.
And that was the thing. And I sent you that list.
I would wake up early on Saturdays. I think for me it started off with Smurfs. I think Smurfs was the first one.
Like 6:30 or 6,
And then from there I don't remember.
Yeah. So
and I know like Transformers. Transformers cartoon. I was the biggest fucking Transformer fan.
Yeah.
And I still geek out now because it's like I go and look at that store.
Yeah.
And see the Transformers and I'm like, oh, the fucking Predacons.
Yeah.
And when I had them, they were the fucking when they first came out, and their bodies were metal. Now, when they redid them later, like whatever, you know, it was plastic.
Yeah.
You know, I had the fucking old OG ones with the fucking metal, you know, cast metal, fucking die-cast metal bodies and stuff like that, and plastic parts, but the main part was metal.
Yeah.
Had the Megatron.
Yeah.
You know,
and the gun.
That was a
the
gun.
Scope and the thing. Yeah.
Now, no way.
Did that have a bump stock on it? Should we pull that from
did.
Yeah.
And it works. You can apply it to any gun. If you have that now, or if you go and get it now, you can make the pistol into a rifle, so it makes it into a short barrel rifle.
Yeah.
Which will those pieces.
The Megatron gun.
Yeah, the Megatron gun. Yeah. Those pieces will go into any gun.
Yeah.
Any gun in existence, they'll fit, and they'll instantly turn it into a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Short barrel rifle, and it's completely legal because it was before '86.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
Again, this show is factual, people.
I remember
Facts.
I had something. I don't remember what it was, but like
you and I have
always. I had a couple GoBots. I had the little motorcycle. You and I talked about the quarter turn stuff.
Wait,
like
no.
Wanted. Sorry. Go ahead.
Those are a real thing. Easily. I was going to tell you about this. Ruger has the 1022, the breakdown, the breakdown 1022. It's quarter turn.
Oh wow!
The barrel comes off. They just came out now, SHOT Show 2018, a 9mm carbine.
Oh wow!
That is the barrel comes off. The whole front stock, you put it in quarter turn, and it goes in together.
Yeah.
They're fucking awesome.
Wow.
And if I was looking, I was like, oh, I'm buying one of these.
Yeah.
Reliability on them apparently sucks. So
Yeah.
So
But I remember I had some kind of it was like
But
a
that
briefcase.
that again was a fucking movie thing, and it was the fucking sniper rifle with that you break it down and it's so easy to blah blah blah. It's that's all movie bullshit.
Yeah. Well, and
we grew up with these fucking movies and these delusions of grandeur. There was no fucking accuracy.
Yeah, but it was cool.
Right.
But I think that's where for a long time I always thought that I had a case that opened up and I had a gun that I would put together.
And it had gold in it. That was your soul.
No. But I put a gun together. Pulp Fiction reference. That I would put a gun, and then I remember now. I think it was just Megatron in pieces where I would slide the because he had the scope, and I would slide so I would act like, okay, I'm an assassin.
Yeah.
And I'd put everything together.
I grew up watching any assassin movie. I wanted to be an assassin.
Yeah.
Oh, how can I kill people for money?
Yeah, exactly.
This would be fucking great.
Yeah, just
any
have
movie.
all the guns you want.
Gross Point Blank.
Leon the Professional.
Leon the Professional. The fucking Sylvester Stallone one.
Yeah. Assassin. Yeah.
Assassins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I want to go kill important people for money.
Yeah.
Let me work for the military and I get to do it for free.
Yeah.
Or I get to do it and not get in trouble for it.
Even that Gross Point Blank thing, when you first see it, when he puts that poison on that string.
Yeah.
And it goes all the way down the string, and you're like, wow, that's ingenious. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you think about it afterwards, you're like, okay. You still got to pull this. There's still going to be a whole bunch of poison. That's a whole lot of wasted poison. Because that's going to be on that string the whole way down.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Yeah.
It looks great for the movies, but practicality of it, and plus it's like, go hire somebody who's starving.
Yeah.
Go give them a gun and tell them to fucking shoot this person. You'll give them $1,000. There's no way to trace it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think like that kind of stuff. Cold War. We were Cold War kids.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. That
it was. Well, it was. Yeah, it was the James Bond movies, all that stuff. But
now they have Fast and the Furious.
So the thing is where I mention these shows, and some people go like, I have no idea. Like I was talking to a guy the other day.
I worked at
and
Starbucks.
We were talking about Transformers, and he said something like about Beast Wars. And he's 30, so he was a kid when Beast Wars was out. But I was like, Beast Wars was like, that was when they redid Transformers, and it was really cool. They had a good idea, and they all became beasts.
I couldn't watch those at all because it wasn't Transformers.
Transformers.
I saw Transformers the movie in the theater.
Yeah. Chip
that was.
I don't remember if I did, but yeah.
Oh God, I had a fucking kid boner.
Well, and that's why what Chip and I said about this last.
I probably jerked off to the female fucking Autobot because she had boobs and was pink.
Yeah. That last one that came out the last night or whatever it was.
I haven't watched it yet.
Chip and I thought that because it shows like Optimus trying to fight some people,
right.
And I think it had Hot Rod in it. And Chip and I are like, oh my God, if they do what the movie did, which is kill Optimus and have him, you got the power.
Well, and I think Unicron was in that.
And
Unicron
was at the very end.
He was in the planet,
coming out of the Earth or whatever. And it was like, oh my God. And so, but then they never killed Optimus. But we were like,
Marlon Brando
totally
didn't even know what he was doing.
No, it was Orson Welles.
Or Orson Welles, didn't even know. Apparently, that was his last performance.
Yeah, it was.
He didn't even know what it was. He just fucking read the lines.
He's like
that's fucking awesome.
He's like, give me did the check clear? Okay, I am Unicron.
I am Unicron. Yeah. No, don't read it like that. Just read it. We'll do all the effects.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, whatever.
We'll add to it.
I'm Unicron.
Yeah.
Megatron, here's your people.
Here you go. I'm going to destroy whatever. But anyway, so like G.I. like there's a thing,
G.I. Joe,
thing on
G.I. Joe,
Netflix.
loved them. G.I. Joe the cartoons. I wasn't it within. I was going to say recently, but that's got to probably be within the last 20 years that I from Netflix got all the G.I. Joe cartoons and made copies of them. I had all of those.
They had them, and then because you and I were going to buy all of them, and then Netflix had like all of them.
But I got them when they sent you the movies.
Before.
I had a ton of them.
Those?
I gave through them all away now.
Damn it! Because I remember watching those, and that's something I was going to share on Instagram. Was remember when Snake Eyes dressed as Boy George at a concert because he was undercover.
No,
and he had his dog because he was.
If I would have, I'm sure I would have.
That was when he was stuck in the snow, and he first found his dog Timber, which is cool because my dog's name was Timber before even G.I. Joe came out.
Right.
Like he was a Malamute, a Husky, whatever, part wolf, part whatever. Husky, however, Malamute.
That's what your dad told you it was. It was really just a.
No, I have a picture of him. He's badass. He's a bigger version of our baby. That's our dog. So anyway,
which is a Chihuahua, and the dog that he had before that he thinks is a Malamute was just a fat Chihuahua.
That's right. There's a thing on Netflix called "The Toys That Made Us." Yeah.
Oh, really?
And it's about the history of like the first one is Star Wars.
And all
figures.
of that was marketing.
And then,
all of that shit was just marketing of people to be able to sell.
George Lucas got a part of the money for that from Kenner. And then the next one is like Barbie. And then the next one is He-Man or G.I. Joe.
See, I never got into the He-Man. I never liked He-Man. Like some of the people that I played with as kids had He-Man ones, but I didn't like those. M.A.S.K.
Yeah.
M.A.S.K. I loved. Here's a story.
Yeah.
My aunt, Lewis Drug in Sioux Falls, was like a precursor to Walmart. It was like everything under one roof kind of thing. Maybe not groceries, but everything else. They had the M.A.S.K. toys. And for some reason, I had it in my head as a kid that you could go in there and play with the toys and open them. And as long as you didn't steal them, it was okay.
Yeah.
And so my mom, as a child, gives me $5 and sends me up to the store to get a fucking 12-pack of soda. So I'm like, all right, cool. Fucking walk up there, put the money in my back pocket. And I'm like, I'm going to fucking go up and fucking play with Gator.
Yeah.
Because the Gator was the Jeep one, which I thought fucking Jeep, hell yeah. And then a fucking boat comes out of it.
Oh, yeah.
And it fucking had the boomerang mask where he'd all boomerang or whatever he fucking did in the fucking thing. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I opened the toy and I sat there just fucking played with it on the floor and fucking Lewis for probably a long fucking time. A long time. Because like when and I'm like, okay, I gotta finally fucking go. And I think they had come over to me and seen that I was playing on the floor, and they're like, "Hey, you're not supposed to open." No, these were like this. Lying.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta get the soda. Gotta go.
Yeah.
Lost the $5.
Oh,
fucking fell out of my pocket because I put it in my back pocket.
Yeah.
So I come home. I think it was like hours later.
Yeah.
Did my mom fucking bother to come and look for me?
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
She's just like, "Where the fuck have you been?"
Yeah.
And where's the soda?
Yeah.
I'm like, I lost it.
Yeah.
And I went around and fucking had the people at Lewis fucking help me try to find the money. We were going. He's like, maybe the fucking air vent sucked it up. I'm like, he probably fucking the money fell out. He probably fucking found it. Well, was like, fuck this kid. He just opened these toys.
Either him or somebody else, and he's being nice to a kid, not going. Somebody probably found it and took it. So he's just telling you like anything.
Whatever.
Right. But
yeah, I didn't get the soda, and I was gone for hours. But now I look back and I'm like my mom just fucking left me. Just whatever. We don't know where he's at. I was in elementary school.
Yeah, and you
no idea where this kid is for hours.
Yeah, exactly. Joe sent me this on Instagram. That M.A.S.K. is
M.A.S.K. Mobile Armored Strike Command. Yeah, and Command with a K, which doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
They're making a movie.
Yeah, that's where IMDb.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was from the.
So no,
that's fucking communist because they fucking.
It's got
Command with a K.
Several writers and so. But
I forgot what the name of the. Just the premise. So much of the stuff. Like there was a YouTube thing where they were talking about like, fucking Transformers. Like they came up with an idea. That's why you can't do cartoons anymore like this, or you couldn't do the commercials. There's something to it where they're like, no, you can't just. The show was nothing but a commercial for the toy.
Yeah.
The only reason they did it, there was no continuity. There was no like, we have this great idea for a story. No, they had an idea for a fucking toy that they needed to be able to put a thing out there to be able to sell it. They didn't care about the story. Like I thought that there were these, I thought as a kid there was this great fucking, lore in this, that I could go somewhere and find out like the whole history of Transformers. There's no fucking history. They were just selling you toys.
Yeah.
Same with G.I. Joe.
And it's like, as they needed to come out with new storylines, they're like, well, hey, this is selling good. Let's come out with new fucking, everything follows the dollar.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with, on that history of, on the Toys That Made Us. I bought the first episode of M.A.S.K. Back in the day.
I had that. I had that base.
I had the helicopter.
I had the base. I had every one of those. I had
the Shawn and Shawn, the beginning of. I had that helicopter that turned into the jet.
Yep.
And I
had that little guy.
Yeah. I think I had that red race car.
Spectrum.
Is that what that was?
Oh wait, what's the bad guy? Venom.
Yeah, I think so. But you see, I had that helicopter.
I had that.
Yeah.
I had that. I loved that one. That was my favorite.
So you ended up buying that then?
Huh?
You ended up buying that Jeep?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had the motorcycle helicopter. I had the fucking semi. I had every single one of those.
Yeah.
I think maybe there was one of the bad guy ones that I didn't have.
And remember the figures were like
tiny.
Smaller? Yeah.
Yeah,
they were
and then they just fucking had a fucking helmet on them.
Yeah.
Hold on, M.A.S.K will be right back.
Anyway, yeah, it's watch what M.A.S.K does. So yeah, that's the very first episode
that's
that
awesome.
I bought on iTunes back in the day, and I was like,
well, and it's like funny because
but
back then,
that's
my
those
brother
things.
was.
So you and I watch those, and we're like, oh, it brings you back right
that
there
song
to that morning. Yeah, yeah.
That's all I want to watch of
yeah.
it, though. I can't watch anymore because then I'll just be like, God, this is fucking dumb.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what happened
that
with me.
Song,
I was
that
like,
thing, like Cobra Command. There was a Cobra Command game in the
the
arcade.
helicopter game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it on my phone.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Maybe it's not updated for the new phone, so I had to delete it or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But the graphics on it were great. It was like a fucking cartoon.
Yeah. Remember they would cut to those cut scenes.
Yeah.
That were like that was the first time you saw cut scenes other than.
And it's like
Dragon,
all you had to do was like go back and forth and shoot a couple little things here.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
But like Japanese animation, the Akira.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell.
Neo Tokyo.
Neo Tokyo.
Yeah.
I still have that. Neo Tokyo is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That Running Man one. All that kind of stuff. Like my brother was even like Jamie. It was like when I was into punk music. He's like years later. He's like, how did you ever get into that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
How did you know about that? How did you know about Ninja Scroll? How did you know about these? He was 4 years older than me. He didn't know about any of this stuff. That was something that the fucking weird kids knew about and stuff. But punk music. He knew Kiss and Led Zeppelin. How do you know about?
It doesn't seem like he's changed much. Yeah.
Well, I told you that story about the Kiss thing, right? How I got him into Kiss.
Oh no, you didn't.
Yeah. So apparently, I don't remember this.
Yeah.
I think he still has the CD. It was his birthday one year, and he had never listened to Kiss, wasn't a Kiss fan, nothing.
Oh, wow.
And for his birthday, I got him a CD.
Yeah.
And I bought him a Kiss CD.
Yeah.
And apparently when he got it, he was like, the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Why would you have gotten me this? And I was like,
why
I probably
Kiss?
got it for you because I wanted it or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But then he listened to it and was like, whatever. And then listened to it again and then just became a huge fucking fan.
Yeah.
And now to this day, he still
goes to every
goes to
show.
see Kiss
Yeah.
a couple times a year or something fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, every time my buddy back in like '89 or whatever, they came out with a it was called what was it called? It was called Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits. It's a CD of like kind of their greatest hits, and it's really good. And it had some new songs on it, and it was really neat. But that one was like that was the first time I really heard them, and I was like, oh, this is really like I like this stuff. But back to about the cartoons. That like G.I. Joe was pretty much just hey, we got a new thing, put that in the show, and they put in the show, and then the kids would go buy it. He-Man was almost the reverse, but not really. But they said, we got this toy line of this. We figured out this guy. His name's He-Man. Got this guy Skeletor. He's got bad guy, and he fights. And then they were like, well, while they're having the meeting with the people to present it. People go, well, it'd be better if they came with like a little comic book or something where you knew the world, so we don't have to try to explain it. And they go, and they just lied their asses off. Like, oh, you didn't? No, we got a comic book. Yeah, we're working on that too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay then. And then later they came back for a meeting again. They were like, oh, nice comic book. You know what would be good if you had like a cartoon, like G.I. Joe's got a cartoon. If you guys, and they go, oh, we didn't. We're sorry, we forgot to tell you. Yeah, we got a cartoon going too. Yeah, we got Filmation.
How did things happen?
And yeah,
okay. Here's the thing. I work for a credit card company. I won't say who. You can go back and listen to the shows and whatever.
Yeah.
If people like these people that I only use this card and you guys always have. If people knew this shit, like our systems are fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Old, like
yeah.
You know, like we're getting a new system now. This new system doesn't fucking work. It's still based off of the old system, like the original fucking green screen beta fucking. Everything still runs from that. It's just got a prettier fucking facade to it.
Yeah.
But this shit is so slow and ridiculous. Like, and I assume that other cards are not this way. Like, I call Discover, and it's like, hey, I've got this, thinking, hey, they're going to transfer me to another department. Okay, here, we'll get you taken care of, and it's done.
Yeah.
Our system's like, this system does not talk to this system, does not talk to this system.
Yeah.
We got to transfer you to 50 different fucking places.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
here
fucking,
you want your customer service to be better.
Yeah,
but
and it's fucking it's retarded.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like it's all a facade of fucking lies.
Yeah. It's like you said, like the He-Man guys, like, and then they said what they did with He-Man was they put out too many bad guys and not enough. So then, and also everybody was just like, forget it, and the whole toy thing just went under because He-Man wasn't as, you know, all that stuff that we grew up with.
As soon as it stops making money, it's the same now with
was that the dogs?
I don't know. Like right now, like Destiny, I was playing that, and then like they came out with a comic kind of thing, like a web comic thing of it, and all these lore people, because like people were creating like full channels on YouTube and stuff like that based on the lore of Destiny, and then they're like, wait a second, this what you guys put here, and then somebody came out and they're like, oh yeah, this is just conjecture, and you know, this is like tales that people would tell. We don't really, you know, whatever we put on here or whatever's in this is really canon. They're like, yeah, but this goes against this. Well, you know, this and that and whatever.
Yeah, you can't.
And it's like,
backpedal.
and now there's somebody that like a party development story lead is what they're looking for, like hiring a new position. So it's like, you know, and I told you on the one thing, I'm like, if I had a dying wish, I was so into the game, like it's like, I want to know what the story is. You know, for a wish thing or something, I want to know. I want to know the whole story about how this is all written out. That's my naivete of that. Where it's like they probably don't fucking know. They're writing it as they go. It's like they want to make money, and they will do whatever they have to fucking make money.
Yeah, exactly. We've been going for a while, but an hour and 30 almost minutes.
Jesus.
But,
okay,
but it's been a good show, I feel. But the nostalgia stuff basically is like Chip said, like what I was getting at. So after like we had G.I. Joe on after school that you could watch, Scooby-Doo and all that. But
Scooby-Doo wasn't selling anything.
Right, yeah, exactly.
G.I. Joe, Transformers, M.A.S.K, He-Man. That was all.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it probably came from, they're like, hey, look at this. Here's Scooby-Doo. Here's a cartoon that we put out. And now when we put out lunchboxes, they sell. Then somebody was like, well, here, this guy's got an idea for these fucking robots that change into cars.
Yeah.
What the fucking, well, let's fucking make that into a fucking toy.
Yeah.
And we'll create a fucking show around it. It's all about, and it's marketing. And
the thing of, Joe on the M.A.S.K thing, Joe said, I didn't know that we could do a whole show on M.A.S.K. I would have jumped on it. We were spending the night at a friend's house one time, and Joe was there, and it was a friend that he didn't even know that well. It was more a friend of mine from school. And we're in grade school, and we're sleeping, and all of a sudden it's like 2 in the afternoon because we were up all night. So all of a sudden they go, Phillip, get up. You know, Joe's like, Phillip, come on. Like, it's time. Like, we got to go now. Like, you know, the kids' parents are home. Like, whatever. We got to go. And I'm like, yeah. And the other kids are ready to leave, whatever. And then all of a sudden Joe goes, oh, M.A.S.K is on right now. And I'm like, what? And I jump out of bed and I fucking run to the living room because I want to watch. And M.A.S.K was on. But I'm like, cool. And he goes, you wouldn't fucking move for like, wake up, Phillip, like, hang out, like, let's just chill for a while. You were just like, nah, I'm sleeping. And then I was like, M.A.S.K is on, and you were like, fucking move out of my way, gotta go watch M.A.S.K.
I will fucking step on people's necks for that fucking show.
I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, you're right with either buy it on iTunes for $2 and
no, I don't
it.
need to.
You're
no,
just,
I don't want to. That fucking opening scene.
Yeah.
Was all I needed, and it brought a fucking huge smile to my fucking face. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, well,
that intro, that was fucking amazing.
Well,
when did that come out?
I think 86 or something.
See, that's what I fucking mean.
87.
How long ago? Okay, here's another old thing.
Yeah.
I look back at the stuff and I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, I'm this old. I'm like, so when we moved out here, I was this old. That means my mom was this old.
Yeah.
So they were younger than I am now when we moved out here. And by that point, they had already owned a fucking bar and restaurant.
Yeah, you had already worked there.
They had already owned multiple fucking semis.
Yeah.
I'm like, my parents are more successful 10 years before I am now than I'm ever going to fucking be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they can and they can wash their hands and be like, we did it, we're good. Yeah.
And I'm
you're
like,
wait
what
a minute.
the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It just makes me look at my life. And
speaking of that, to catch in on my father real quick, he's unemployed now. He got fired.
I didn't know he was employed.
He was employed with. That's why he was homeless, but he was employed, so he's making money plus my mom's Social Security that he still makes. Watching APS lines that, like, when they're down and they're working on it,
right?
Then you stand.
He got fired from that. How do you get fired from that?
So here's his story. Of course, it's nobody else's fault. It's everybody else's fault.
Yeah,
it's
your
not
dad's
his.
a victim.
He said, he goes, I was partying the night before.
Nothing to do with not his fault.
He goes, then I was sick, so I took some NyQuil. Then I woke up and I went to work. And he goes, and then at work, the NyQuil was still in me, and I fell asleep. And one of the supervisors showed up, saw me sleeping, and was like, you're done, and fired me. And I said, well, shouldn't have taken NyQuil before work, and there's stuff called Dayquil and whatever. And
alcohol.
But where I don't, right, and the alcohol that made you tired. But what I don't get on that is he's got the breathalyzer on his car. So how did you take NyQuil and pass the breathalyzer to get it going? Because I had a problem with just Scope mouthwash.
Yeah.
To blow into my breathalyzer back.
Oh yeah, I forgot that he had the breathalyzer, but that was okay. And how was he at the bar?
No, he was at home. They were drinking at home, like
Well, maybe he took the NyQuil.
Yeah,
and he was probably the NyQuil in his system. It's not going to show up on his breath.
Yeah,
it was probably just that he was fucking exhausted
exactly.
and only had 1 hour of sleep.
Exactly,
and fucking had alcohol and NyQuil in his system that just wasn't coming through. Oh my god!
Yeah, well, that's where I told you.
Okay, so he's unemployed.
Where I told you, where
he'll
call me like he used to. He doesn't lately, but he'd call me at 2:30 in the morning, like leaving the bar, and be like, or just getting ready for bed. Okay, I'm going to bed, but I got to be up at 8 in the morning or 6 in the morning. So can you call me? And it's like, why do you stay at the bar till 2:30? Like, go to sleep.
I'm going to bed by fucking. I would be in bed by 9 o'clock at night every fucking night.
Shawn is old. Yeah,
your dad's older than I am.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's almost 70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck is he doing?
Yeah. I don't know, and for him, I just go, oh, do what you want, let him,
And it's funny because like you and I don't have kids, so there's that irresponsibility.
Yeah,
he has a kid. It's you.
Yeah,
but
you
would think that he treats it like he's never had a kid.
Yeah, and then the other day, and then it's funny because he says things like, I was like, oh yeah, Danielle wants me to get life insurance. I'm getting checked out, want to see if whatever, and he's like, oh, so. What was it? So for whatever I said, he goes, so she does love you. And I'm thinking, what do you think this is all about? Like, do you think I'm just with her? Like, I'm like, yeah. And he goes, well, I go, you didn't think that she loved me? No, that, I knew that. I just mean,
No, Dad,
like,
you're
okay,
an idiot.
Yeah. And then he's going like, are we going to, we should hang out. I go,
no, we
He goes, we haven't seen each other forever. I go, Dad, we went and saw Treasure of Sierra Madre together. We went and ate at Cracker Barrel. We saw each other. Like, we can't see each other every week. But I'll see you
wouldn't remember it anyway, old man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he still goes.
What's he doing at the bars at fucking 2 a.m. with being 70?
Yeah. Oh, like he told me one day when I said.
Is he still doing drugs?
When I said, I don't think so, but who knows. But I said, why don't you. I said, you should lay off the drinking so much. Like, you're wasting all this money going to the bar. Exactly. And he's one of those where, like, Danielle says alcoholic and her dad, and then when I go, well, he hasn't drank for a while, like, if he stops.
Doesn't matter.
Like, no, but I'll go, but I'm saying he's an alcoholic, but not where it's a functioning, like, where he's always got to drink, but he's still
just dry.
Yeah.
And if he's not drinking at the time, he's dry. It almost seems like he's more like it's the social aspect. Like
I think it's mostly social, and it's also that he told me that one day, like, Wyatt Earp drank until he was 80. He was at the bars until he died. He would always go to the bar every night to hang out with everybody.
So he wants to be Wyatt Earp?
And I said, okay, whatever you want to do. I said, but know this, you haven't told me what you want done if you're on your deathbed or whatever. I said, I'm going to be pulling the plug because I'm not going to sit there and question myself of, is this what Dad wants? I said, I'm going to just do what I want. So, yeah. So,
and I'm not burying you.
But on that note about getting old, so I did that thing of, like, getting your blood and, getting
I just had my physical today.
Yeah.
So fitting that I came here and they do an EKG and physical.
They sent me a thing and said that I have high cholesterol again.
Okay.
And that, what else? So Danielle now got me some cookbooks. She wants me to learn to cook to not get frozen pizzas and all the shit that I eat. So it's for hypertension or whatever, And then I got, like, organic bread or whatever. And then what's interesting, then today,
that's
Kevin
what medicine
Smith.
Is for.
Then, right. Well, and then I'm taking fish oil now.
Yeah,
but I also take
need real,
heartburn
medicine.
Yeah. And then, well, they haven't, I haven't went to a doctor for the, when I had the cholesterol before, I was taking that Crestor or whatever, and my stuff went down. And wow, two old guys talking about medicine. And then
did you get the new Medicaid cards?
Right.
My doctor's office said the new Medicaid cards are coming out.
Get a free donut on if you go for AARP.
If you get a cookie, you need those cookies for after you give blood and
give
you
blood, but then have them give it to you back right away.
Yeah.
Put it in my freezer. Yeah.
Back in my day.
So that was so. In closing, Chip said, and you and I, we all agree, with Saturday morning cartoons were the best because with that theme song, you didn't know what was coming for the show.
No.
All you knew was this show is going to be awesome. Like, I can't wait for the next installment.
I hear that, and I see my addiction was strong then.
Yeah.
Because I lived, breathed, and thought
What's
going to happen in the next Transformers.
Yeah.
What's, are the the Predacons are my favorite fucking character. Are they going to be in the next episode?
Yeah, and
are they going to be this?
And I need another
that's what
one.
I would think about.
Yeah,
and it's that obsessive,
Yeah, no, it's exactly, and so it's that whole thing. But that's what Chip sent me a list of a Saturday morning like TV guide or something that he found, and he was like, that was before Cartoon Network, before all this
and
stuff.
like you said, like I wouldn't wake up early for nothing, but Saturday you fucking bet your ass I was there fucking watching those cartoons.
All my friends are like, it's a weekend, I sleep in. I'm like, no. I gotta, if I'm
this
up early
when
enough,
I'm up.
I can watch Smurfs. But I think before Smurfs was Thundar the Barbarian, so I had to wake up at like 6, and then Smurfs was on at 6:30.
I wasn't so concerned about Thundar because there weren't a whole lot of new episodes that came out of that and stuff. So if I missed it, it wasn't a big deal. But if it was on, it was a bonus.
Yeah. So
the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Yeah.
Where they fucking rode the roller coaster. The fucking roller coaster that fucking zip them back in fucking time.
Well, and then remember Thundercats had.
Oh, Thundercats was a little
But
bit.
Remember, it was a primetime movie.
The fucking girl cats were like fucking naked under that fur.
Yeah, exactly. I think the guys were too, but yeah.
God, you're gay.
I'm just saying. Panthro's dick was flopping around.
Cock.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, no, I'm fucking, I'm fucking thinking of fucking Lolita's fucking tight fucking diet pussy.
Chitara's diet pussy. Well, with that, I'm going to try to draw a picture of a plane hitting a, and I know, rest in peace, USS Arizona, but,
fucking diet pussy.
Did he say diet pussy? It'd be you and I talking.
Is it like the Diet Coke fucking symbol with fucking pussy written on it?
Instead of the circle, instead of the Japanese circle,
it's that.
It'll be.
Yeah, but it's like whatever the Diet Coke thing is, but instead of saying Diet Coke, it says pussy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Let's get those tattooed.
I want the full scene though. Of what I see in my head. So all right. Well, thank you.
That
Shawn.
was funny. I've listened to that. That was funny.
It's been great. So that's our show. Again,
welcome back, Phillip. Thanks for. I know we took
yes.
some time off, but
welcome. I know it seems like forever, but yes, thank you. Thank you for being here. I want to give a shout out again to those Movie Guys podcasts. Check them out, or Mullets and Memories if you're into MacGyver. Shawn and I may try to figure out a Chopping Mall podcast.
Yeah. Can we fucking do a really long one and watch Chopping Mall together?
On Amazon. We could play it right here and just fucking put the sound. Yeah, have one earpiece in here of the movie and one earpiece here. Okay. And then
you don't have to explain it.
Okay. Well, to the
I'm sure we can figure it out
just in case. Yeah. I don't know. You told me that you got back on drugs and alcohol, so I was checking just in case. No. So
what did I say?
Yeah,
I'm already forgetting.
No, I was kidding. Yeah,
I did take my ginkgo biloba today.
Congratulations on being sober. Everybody send us an email at itskindoffunnypodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on Twitter under It's Kind of a Funny Pod, and or me on Movie Man, Phil the Movie Man on Twitter, or Instagram under It's Kind of a Funny Podcast.
And I'm on Instagram under Dogs and Steel.
Yep. Awesome.
All right. Later, peoples.
Later. Bye.
Can you really deep throw balloons? Do pregnant strippers make us